Fuck you.
We are back. Yay. Merro can groove, man. She's great with her chair dancing. This is chair dancing.
As you can see, I'm working with real professionals.
Oh my goodness. So it's been like, I don't know what, a month, because everything has been going on. That's been crazy in our individual lives.
Yeah, life is amazing. Kind of.
There's that Chinese proverb, I think, is like, may your life be interesting. And that's actually a curse. You know?
Yeah, may you live in interesting times. And it's like, no, let's not live in interesting times. Let's live in boring times. I like boring times.
Boring is amazing. I love them. I love boringness. Because then you can choose, hey, it's really boring, so I'm going to go make something amazing. If you're in interesting times, that's a lot of that's not in your control, man.
No. All right. So, hello, everyone, and welcome. And shit.
Welcome and shit. That's what we're down with. So, we haven't been around in about a month. Merro's had stuff going on, sending out hearts to Nacha. I hope you're all right, man. And I've been so bogged down with work. I really considered shaving my head to keep from pulling out my hair. And it's not
I would have killed you if you'd done that. I would have been like, no!
How dare you cut all that hair? We can't recognize you now.
Yeah, I would have actually flown over into the COVID invested thing to just point and yell at you. Just like, why?
Honest to God, that is how my friends find me in a crowd. And my mother as well. We were holiday shopping one year because holidays, years ago.
What are they?
It was, I know, it was hot in the store that I was in, and I have a lot of hair. So I put my hair up in a bun. My mom spent like almost 45 minutes looking for me because she didn't recognize me with my hair up. My mom.
No.
But there you go. So, yeah.
Hello, everyone who has arrived, by the way.
Yes. So we're going to talk about something that nobody ever talks about, guys.
No, we haven't actually talked about my green screen before.
Yeah, we haven't. We were debating whether or not we were going to throw a naked picture of Trump behind Merro, and then we just decided that would be cruel and unusual punishment for not only her, but everybody else.
Yeah. And technical reasons is that, mainly because a part of me is very green as well. So you'd see me partially faded out as well, and I'd have a penis on my face.
Yeah, maybe that might be. And it would be very small though. So
yeah, you'd probably like see it on my nose every once in a while, or maybe here. I'd just be a dickhead.
Just have a little tiny micropeen sticking out of your forehead. Yeah. That's my third eye, guys. It's small.
By the way, not just in the side chat, you're giving him ideas.
How is he going to protrude a penis through your head? I can't imagine that that's something that you can come back from.
No, generally not. No. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was an awkward silence. So, yeah. We can talk about the science of green screens.
Yeah, that might be cool one day. But yeah, so we've been so I was in the mountains about a week, and I needed some time to get out of my house because I don't leave my house. And, I have crippling anxiety, even though it's been great being locked down and everything. I don't have to deal with people. At the same time, I actually enjoy dealing with people sometimes. So I'm like, I've got to get away. I got to get a change of scenery. So I had a social distancing thing in the mountains. It was really nice. And then it was in Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Sevierville. I go downtown and they have a mask mandate. And I'm like, what for? Nobody's freaking wearing them. and they're all like crammed together and blowing vape stuff. And I don't hate vapors, but guys, don't be blowing that in people's faces in a pandemic. So I was really, really frustrated. And then I went and looked at the numbers. That county is number 5 in the country for rate of infection. And I'm going,
nice. That's what you want.
Yeah. So I go on vacation, kind of. I still had to work and stuff just to get out of the house. I leave the house one day, spend about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours downtown, leave the moment it gets crowded because it was becoming a super spreader event. Guess what, guys? A few days later, 25% of that county has COVID-19.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Doing great.
Have you been tested?
I have not been tested, but I haven't had any symptoms. And that's been almost 2 weeks now.
Okay, so that's good.
This Thursday, it'll be 2 weeks since I went downtown for that hour and a half. I did have a mask. It's a nice mask, even though it's not like an N95. It has like the fitness material on the outside that wicks away moisture. So if moisture was coming at it, it would hold it there. And I hand wash that stuff with hot water, hang dry it, all that. So hand sanitizer. So I haven't had any symptoms. But then I find out my sister has actually tested positive, as has her husband. So having to deal with that. And I have a niece. She doesn't have it right now, but it's like
a matter of time.
Possibly. But they're seeing, a doctor. They're at home. I can't have my niece come over here because of transmission issues. I can't take her in. So this disease is screwed up and it's upsetting. And the fact that I know my sister's super careful and they still managed to get it from her husband working and stuff. I mean, you're going to come in contact with it sometimes, but, she has autoimmune issues and my niece has respiratory issues and carries an inhaler. So I'm like trying really hard to just be like, they're likely going to be okay. But it's like,
Yeah, there's been an outbreak in Sydney at the moment. So we're a little bit, there was a woman that did travel up who tested positive, but she was responsible. She wore a mask and, she did all the contact tracing and stuff like that. So they were able to put out an alert up in Brisbane, not Brisbane, up in the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And so far, I don't think anyone's tested positive from that traveller because she did all the right things. She made sure that she logged into every time that she went somewhere. She wore a mask. She did all the right things, and it's looking like we're not going to have an outbreak because of because she was responsible. And I'm not entirely sure why there was an outbreak in Sydney. I think it was a leak from a hotel quarantine. But yeah, in Sydney, there's been but hopefully we'll be able to get on top of it because, if there's like 30 or 40 people, it's not, and because they're going to shut down pretty quickly and people are used to being able to, go for it and do the right thing, there shouldn't be too bad. So, this is what happens when you actually live in a country where people don't go, my freedoms.
Oh my God, I know. And those are the same people that are like pro-life.
Yeah.
Are you pro-life though?
No. No is the answer to that. No.
The answer is no. Yeah, I'm pro-life. Why aren't you wearing a mask? It's personal choice.
I love the hypocrisy of the my body, my choice thing.
Right? Isn't that funny? And then the Washington Post piece that came out. Did you happen to see that about Dr. Jill Biden? They were there. The editor, not the editor, but the writer of that piece was saying, it was an opinion piece, that she should drop the doctor off of her name, out of respect. Because she's not technically a medical doctor. So she shouldn't have that anyway.
She has a doctorate, you dumbass.
So, but these are the same people who didn't listen to medical doctors anyway. So I'm like, why do you care?
How dare someone actually, do the right, like, demand to be addressed by their actual fucking,
honorific that they earn.
Yeah. How dare they? How dare they?
Should we?
I've thought about.
Should we mention Dr. Kent Hovind?
Should we mention Dr. Kent Hovind?
where Dr. Seuss could write, out of one of his books, a better thesis than Dr. Kent Hovind. We should call him one day on the show. He takes my calls. It's weird.
That's true.
I've called him twice. It's on our channel. I don't think he wants to talk to me anymore. He's mad.
Possibly
but he'll
not.
talk to me all day, man. I'll sit there and I'll just ask him questions out of morbid fascination, and he'll answer them. And I'm sitting there going, God, you're so weird. We're like, oh, really? What else do you think? And I'm sitting here just laughing, and he doesn't even know. So, oh my God. But we're both in one-party states, so I can technically broadcast that conversation because only one of us needs to know it's going, and he is as well. So.
Out of curiosity, have we actually said hello to the chat yet? I don't think we have.
I don't think we said hi to everybody. Let's see who's
sorry,
here.
Everyone.
Let's see. Ricardo Oliveira. How you
Hello.
doing? Almost a doctor's here.
Hey, Matt.
Warning dumb racist people.
That's basically the internet, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello.
Smiling Game Master, what's up? Gen X RN, how you doing? Post 9, Mr. Shadow Kitty. What's going on, guys? Gonna go for it's here for some reason.
I don't know why.
Yeah, he just threw him out.
I'd ban him. I'd just kick him out.
Yeah, I'd ban him too.
I'd just kick him out, right? Clockwork Rex, how's it going? We got him. Notch's here.
Hello.
You
He's
always
actually-
make me hungry. He needs to have a taco stand called Nacho Witness. I don't know why he doesn't do that.
It's annoying. Yeah, he's actually in the room next to me. So
wow.
hello.
You should have a taco truck. Nacho Witness, man. I don't know why you don't do that. And then you could tell the good news of like not being, Mormon.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh.
no, it's Jehovah's Witness. Not being that anymore. I think we got everyone.
I think giant butthole.
Oh, Giant Butthole's here. Okay, nice to see you. J.I. Person.
And Dynacat loves me. And also, did we say hello to Clockwork Rex?
We did. And Juv is here.
Oh, hello.
Juv is here.
And Streamlabs, hello.
Streamlabs is always here. What's going on? Nice to see it's working today.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
The technology fairies or gnomes or whoever they hate me. They hate me so much.
The tech gremlins.
I don't feed them after midnight or anything, so I don't understand what the problem is.
Bastards.
So how about we get started with some
Why
of the
not?
stuff? You sent me some tweets, and I'm like, okay, we just got to talk about some of this.
Yes. Everyone, if you've got something soft, just make sure you're holding on to it because you're going to need it. Head protection is required for this stream. So please make sure that you're...
Safety first.
Safety first. We've already read it, these things. And so, I probably have lost several brain cells from that.
Yeah, there was one, I think we got the first one we're going to pull up is some stuff about graphs associated with how masks don't work. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yeah, this one's great. And when I say great, that's with extreme sarcasm.
So what are we looking at here? I know you sent this to me. Do you remember what this is? I know you might want to pull it up in your Twitter.
I probably will. So is it the graphs one?
Okay, yeah, this has to do with graphs. So essentially what's going on here is this guy was involved in conversation where he was saying essentially that masks don't do anything because there was a rate of infection that was going up because of masks.
What's the name of the person? Because I can't quite read it. Was it Shane?
What's the name of the person in that tweet, Peter?
Yeah.
Shane, not related, by the way.
Is it okay, Shane?
No.
Yep, got it. Found it.
Yeah.
No, we've had a Shane in the side chat often enough. This is a different Shane.
Oh, okay. So yes, I'm gonna put a clip. I'm gonna post this in the side chat so you guys can look at this this chart at home and weigh in on what you think about this, because this is what they posted. This is from rationalground.com. More mask charts.
Yay!
So somebody took the time to go through and say, this is when a mask mandate happened, and look at all of these cases. This is when a mask mandate happened, and look at all these cases. What is your first thought about a graph like that, Merro?
Okay, so Kentucky. I'm looking at the first one, which is the Kentucky one. How good was the compliance? I'm pretty sure it was not. I think that's a fairly common thread amongst all the and also cherry picking. Everyone loves some cherry picking. Yay!
You got to get the best cherries. Forget the bad ones. You don't want the bad ones.
And they're in season now over in the Southern Hemisphere. So
oh, I bet that's nice.
Yeah.
Get you some nice cherries to go along with that bias.
Gotta love it.
So compliance is a concern. Also, what's really particularly funny is that they go around and they think that correlation is here, or in you have, this is when the mask mandate happened and then all these cases happen.
Yeah.
What they're not taking into consideration is, okay, did they go around and check? Like you said, did every single person comply with the mask usage? I can tell you they don't do that where I live. They didn't do that in freaking Gatlinburg, Tennessee when I was there almost 2 weeks ago. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
But what about this? There have been some cities that have come out and shown studies that when they implemented mask mandates, that the rate did go down if they were enforced. That's not listed here.
Yeah, well, that's what happened in Victoria. As soon as the mask mandate came in, like 2 weeks later, it went from like something ridiculous, like 700 cases a day, down to like next to nothing. Like 2 weeks later, because you've got that lag, that 2 week lag. Yeah.
And then also the fact that when they hit the mask mandate, they already had an uncontrolled infection rate.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of like you're at the top of a hill and you have a snowball or an avalanche that's starting to go. And you're like, okay, we're going to implement like our emergency dams or whatever. We're going to stop the snowball right here. And then it crashes through because it's too freaking big. What do you expect? I mean, you have uncontrolled infection rate. Wearing a mask, yes, it's going to reduce the transmission rate, but you also have a delay of onset of symptoms as well. And so these people could have already been infected, and then they put on the mask and they get sick anyway. They probably were already, asymptomatic carriers.
Yeah. So that was a fun thing to look at. So that's the first one. Oh, look at Kentucky. It's these masks don't work. So,
my freedoms.
And
then the next one, they went from Kentucky to the Czech Republic.
Yep.
Why that?
I don't know. Like.
And then the next one's Wisconsin.
Some of these are really, really fun for me because they're like, well, one of my favorite ones is the mask vaccine mandate. What the fuck does that mean? On the 29th of July, on 29th of July, they're talking about a mask vaccine. Can you remind me when the vaccine was released in America?
Like
Last week?
last week
Yeah.
in December.
In December. So this is 5 months earlier before the vaccine. 5 months before the vaccine was released in America. They're like the statewide mask vaccine mandate. And again, Wisconsin. I can't remember, but is Wisconsin also one of the freedoms ones?
They're kind of like Midwest people.
Yeah, so I think the freedoms people are also fairly strong in the Wisconsin.
And then randomly Hungary and Argentina.
Yeah, and another one that I kind of
We've got a question from the side chat.
Sure.
It's someone I know, Phony Beetle Maniacs. He said, the question I have is, why is there a new strain? Is it, I don't know, is it on time in a dense population, or is it the way the UK has dealt with the pandemic? So the Dutch were the first to ban all flights in and out of the UK. And now, I think entire Europe has done that. They've got a new strain, which is more contagious and more dangerous.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit that, Merro?
Okay, so basically, when it comes to viruses, especially viruses like COVID, they don't have any proofreading proteins. So when they replicate, the proteins that proofread don't exist. So that's why the flu mutates every single year. That's one of the reasons why you need to have a new flu vaccine every year. And so a proofreading basically is what it sounds like. It's literally a protein that goes through and checks if there's been any swap out of any DNA base pairs. And so that's why evolution is really, really slow, which is why, modern day humans have not effectively evolved very far over the past 250,000 years, 150 to 200,000 years. But with DNA, with RNA viruses and most viruses, they don't have these proofreading proteins. And so when a virus gets released, a new virus or a novel virus gets released into a population, if it's not contained well enough, it just mutates at a faster rate. Most mutations are neutral, meaning that the protein that's expressed doesn't change, even though the base pairs have changed within the DNA or the RNA strand, depending on the type of virus. However, some are detrimental and they'll be naturally selected against, and some are beneficial, which will be naturally selected for. So any new strain that comes out that's more contagious, is more virulent or whatever, it's more likely to be found later, which is why the people who are pushing for herd immunity without vaccines are complete and fucking idiots, just have no understanding of epidemiology or whatever, because the more people who get this disease, the more likely a beneficial mutation is going to happen, and the more likely we're going to see a disease that is more likely, more easily spread, more likely to be virulent, more likely to be more deadly. So one of the things that's weird about COVID-19 is that it's got a very, very, very long asymptomatic time. So that's infectious, which is two weeks. Usually a disease such as the flu is like 3 days, which is why it can kind of burn out in a population, is because people know that from being infectious to asymptomatic to actually become symptomatic is three days. So there's less ability for people to do the mass spreading of this disease. But with COVID-19, because it's 2 weeks, you've got that week and a half longer possibility of spreading this disease around.
Mhm.
So that's one of the really big evolutionary advantages that COVID-19 has against the flu.
Right.
And another one of the advantages that COVID-19 has against the flu is that it attacks pretty much every cell in your body. It uses the ACE2 protein receptor to get into your system.
Mhm.
So I don't know how that will affect the infectivity rate, but it's just one of the reasons why it's so disastrously deadly.
It's bad, folks. Don't get it.
Very, very bad. Almost a Doctor asks, does RNA viruses not have proofreading proteins? I'm pretty sure they don't. Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do. Well, RNA viruses, RNA polymerase doesn't have a proofreader.
That's right. Yeah.
So the polymerase makes copies of the RNA, and RNA has a very short shelf life. It has a very short half-life. It falls apart pretty quickly in the cytoplasm. And so what Merro was pointing out, and she did really good. That's awesome. The more people who are infected by an RNA virus, the more likely you're going to have a mutation that kind of hits the jackpot. So often I think about it of like a casino. If you're sitting at a slot machine with unlimited nickels, most of the time you're not going to get anything. But every once in a while, you're going to hit the jackpot. And so people are unlimited nickels. And so the more people that are infected by an RNA virus like COVID-19, the more likely it's going to hit the jackpot and become something worse. But the good news is, since it is the ACE2 receptor, that's a highly beneficial mutation. So it's very likely vaccines will work just fine because it doesn't help it to get rid of that receptor. It helps it to be able to attach to that receptor. So we can still get antibodies. So it's very possible that vaccines will help eliminate this particular virus just because of the nature of the way it enters our cells.
Yeah. But also the fact that the ACE2 receptor is the reason why it's so deadly is because it affects pretty much every organ in your body.
Yes. So. This is why we see the kidney failure, the heart failure, the lung failure, sometimes liver failure. We're seeing strokes.
Blood
brain damage.
Neurological damage.
Hey guys, if you're manly and you're really, really worried about wearing a mask makes you not manly, if you get this virus, it actually causes erectile dysfunction and hurts your sperm.
Yeah,
that's not very manly.
No, no, it's not very manly at all. No. So there was a tweet, I can't remember who did it, who was like, men who wear a mask admits that they shows that they've been pegged in the ass by their girlfriend. Did you see that
Paul
one?
Watson, Prison
that was
Planet.
Brilliant.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Dr. Janaway. Do you know Dr. Janaway? He works for the NHS. He's a psychiatrist. I've been trying to get him on the show. Sometimes he's like, yeah, I can. And then the schedules never work out, but he's great. His response was, at least a girl fucked me.
Oh my God. That's brilliant. Oh,
I dropped an F-bomb, guys. I'm already probably, I'm not going to apologize. This is a cheeky show. So
it is a cheeky show. Did you want
and also, hello, phony beetle maniacs. We didn't say hi to you before.
Oh, hello. And I think Oliver Walters Cliff also has come in a bit later. So hello.
And Natalia, is it Natalia? Oh gosh,
Natalia?
I'm gonna ruin Natalia.
Dumenchik, I think. Natalia Dumenchik. I'm sorry, I probably ruined your name as well.
Yeah,
so
I'm terrible.
Hello. Sorry. I know I'm pretty sure it's Natalia because it's
Natalia. The J is silent. It's like a yeah. Like a yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That might be it.
Maybe.
Erectile dysfunction. Yes. I just really want to take like a big old speaker phone, you know what I mean? and then walk up and down the streets of like my downtown and just scream, erectile dysfunction, and hold up a sign, wear a mask. If this was the penis falls off of people virus, this would have been handled last year.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I've just got a question. If I have like a lizard and it loses all of its leg, does that mean I have erectile dysfunction?
That should not be as funny as what it is. I giggle snorted.
I'm sorry, everyone. I just had to say it. You may hate me for that. It's okay. I understand.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Speaking of manly men, we have a video of a manly man who's a surgeon. Actually, thinks that masks don't work.
Okay.
Let's check this out. What does it say?
This could also be like bad for copyright, so you might want to mute it.
Okay. Alrighty. Probably mute the sound, Peter.
Yeah, blah, blah,
we can talk
and I'm like, yeah, let's
la,
talk
la,
through it,
la,
because,
la, la. This
blah,
guy
blah,
is
blah.
stupid. This guy is dumb.
Because we don't want to have a copyright strike because they
Okay.
Okay, is it muted?
Yeah.
I think it might. Yeah.
Look at him. So he puts on different masks and is blowing smoke through it, going, "See, masks don't work. My freedoms." And he's a freaking medical doctor.
I love the one where he's like the N95 and it's got this tiny little trickle out the side. And also one of my favorite things is he doesn't do a control, which is no mask at all.
No, he doesn't. And so we're it's just okay. So what did he demonstrate? What did he demonstrate in this?
I think he demonstrated really, really well that masks do work because none of them went forward. They all went out or up. That's why I thought. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I also thought that he shows that air passes through it. So we can breathe while wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sort of, I love that attitude of we can't breathe. And yet it shows very well that it's like, it does happen. You can, because it's not impermeable to air.
Yeah. Your head isn't in a vacuum here. It's like, and then the people are like, well, it doesn't protect against the virus and I can't breathe in it. I'm like, but the air, if you say it doesn't protect against the virus particles or viruses are larger than air molecules. But whatever.
Yep. Who cares? Yep. It's just, yeah.
So this guy is a medical doctor. It's grossly irresponsible for him to do this sort of thing. And the idea is about aerosols. The virus lives in aerosols. And so what this isn't showing you is that it is capturing aerosol droplets from him blowing out. That's what we want to catch. That's what we're trying to do. Gas, okay, smaller gases are going to pass through, but the aerosols, the water particles that the virus lives in, or the droplets, that's what we want to catch.
I mean, have you ever sneezed into your hand and come out with like, if you've a major booger about that's big on, because I know I've done that. It's pretty gross.
You should take a picture and send that to like Ripley's Believe It or Not, or try to get like a, what is that award that they do?
You should have that on video and send it to Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
He likes to rub it in his face.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, but if I don't know about you, but something that size does not seem to exit a mask.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct. I mean, it's going to stay there.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's very gross.
It is pretty gross. I don't like bodily fluids. That's part of the reason why I didn't get into the medical field. I really have a thing, and I just, ew. Yeah, we already went through this with the wrong hole and everything, so we already did that. I don't care. I mean, blood I can deal with, but like excretory fluids, I am not a fan. I can deal with blood.
Fair. That's fair.
Cannot deal with excretory fluids.
No, I get you.
Or secretions. I don't like secretions or excretory type of fluids. Blood is okay, but beyond that, I'm not a fan. I could have probably been a surgeon, but
there's
maybe,
still things that come out that isn't blood from surgery. So
that's true. In a particular, if you're doing like working on the colon or something, then you're dealing with, or the bladder, and then you got urine and poo. I'm not a fan of that. And also I care entirely too much for people, and I would not be okay losing a patient. So not my jam. Give me a microscope and everybody leave me alone. Oh my goodness. So yes.
You go.
No, you go ahead.
Well, so what this guy was able to show very well is that, one, you can breathe in a mask. Two, when you breathe out, vape particles, which are, from what I understand, smaller than that of droplets, especially ones that are about that big, may get trapped. So you can breathe. That the N95 mask, there's a little tiny bit, like it was just like pretty amazing with the N95. The fact of the matter is, if a mask didn't allow you to breathe out, you'd die within about 2 minutes. Yeah. Almost a doctor says something.
Scientist Mel, I think there was a study that showed even a mask that has pore sizes too big, not rated for a virus, still stops about 70% of viral particles. So even the wrong mask will help. I mean, honestly, it's about layers. You can wear a cloth mask. Sometimes I do one of those little neck gaiter things on top of a on top of a clock mask. I need a clock mask now, but a cloth mask. So the more layers you have, the less likely you're able to expel anything. And also the less likely you are to inhale anything. So, but you got to wash your freaking mask. We did that episode where people weren't washing their masks and how gross their faces were.
Yeah. And one was like, they were like, oh, you get infections. And it's like, well, first of all, you got to wash your masks. And second of all, one of those is an infant, and we do not suggest masks for infants. That one looks like bruising from a mask. I'm pretty sure that's chicken pox, and like this is what masks do. And it's like, no. Like, no.
You got to treat masks like they're your underwear. Okay. You can't turn them inside out. That's not going to work. You have to actually wash them if they're reusable. And please use reusable ones. It's not that big of a deal. You can reduce and reuse. Hand wash them if you want with hot water and a little bit of dish soap, and hang dry them. That's literally it.
Yeah. I remember seeing what was it? I got a mask, a handmade mask from Kitty, one of the people.
Oh, yeah. She does good work.
She does very good work. And I put that mask on with like just a paper towel insert between the two. So she's put 3 layers, two tightly woven cloth, and you just put another layer in between. And when I put on her mask, it was actually harder for me to breathe through that mask than it was when I started, when I used just a normal medical one. So I wouldn't be surprised if I did my own experiment that her mask was actually better than the ones that you get in packets. So so if you can get your own handmade masks and able to do that, strongly recommend.
We have some people that have showed up in the chat. Sinister Porpoise, how you doing? And Dickie's beer reviews. I wish wish I could enjoy beer, but I don't. It doesn't work for me. And Megalite Jack, what's going on? What's going on?
That kind of sucks that you don't like beer.
I know it makes it. The thing about beer, the hops flavor or anything that tastes a little bit like beer, it's the same flavor as my vomit.
Right. Okay. That I can understand why you don't like beer now.
So maybe I could be weird, like some of those people do on the internet. It's like, here, have some of my vomit. It tastes like beer. Give me $300. I'll ship it to you. Scientist Mel vomit tastes like beer.
Nice.
I don't know if I could ethically do that. I think I would actually have a problem with it if I tried to do that.
I would have a problem as well. But, some people have weird fetishes. And, as long as you say you will get sick if you drink this, like, the thought of it's making me sick. So, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So I wish I could enjoy beer, but that keeps me from enjoying it. So I just tend to stick to wine and the spirits.
Fair enough. You're a spirited woman, you are.
I've been told that. And depending on who you ask, that's either a good or bad thing.
I think it's a good thing.
Well, that's good. I think you're full of spirit yourself.
Nice.
Now, see, Dickie's beer reviews is like, but have you had beer that doesn't taste like beer? Yes, I have. I've had the fruity beer. I've had the beer that's been like, it's mostly not a beer. You can't really, yeah, it still tastes like beer. I've done that. I've had beer snobby friends. But like, have this beer. It doesn't taste like beer. Yeah, no, that tastes like beer. Have this beer. It doesn't it tastes like beer.
Yeah.
It still tastes like beer, guys.
Some
Aunt
people...
Jer, what's up?
Hey. A handmade mask? Oh, a handmade mask.
Oh my goodness. So we've got another tweet we're gonna look at.
Yeah. Which one's this one? Is it the one another one that I sent you because, pain?
It is. Okay. You had to share that awfulness with me. Let's see. Guilt shaming the anti-vaxxer mob. This is to do with that.
Which one's the who is it?
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson. And he says, watch how the vaxxer mob start publicly guilt shaming people and local businesses for not complying with vaccinations. If you get the shot, you're immune to infected people, right? So why do you care if people don't want to get it?
I'm just trying to find it. How far up is it?
Here, I can just send it to you if you want.
That might actually work.
All right. I will send it to you again. Let me see.
Because, professionalism and organization is definitely not the thing around this. This is not a thing. Yeah.
It's okay. We're just sitting here having fun. So, guys in the chat, what's wrong with that statement, do you think? I want to see what people in the chat think. If you get the shot, you're immune to infected people, right? So why do you care if people don't want to get it?
Did I respond to this guy? I think I might have. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Possibly.
Peter is scrolling through it. Usually I quote tweet these people and then just have a good time with my popcorn. Just sit down. Like, here we go.
Yeah, I can't see. I think I probably just face palmed and decided not to interact.
Yeah. So some people gave a lot of pushback for this.
Yeah. So what is wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Let's see what people in the chat say. Herd immunity. Because you still need herd immunity. Yes. Also, we care about other people's lives.
Jägermeister, the favorite cetacean beverage. That's also a really good point.
Okay. I can't remember the last time I had Jägermeister, and there's probably a reason for that.
Okay, so a lot of people have nailed it, and herd immunity is that. Also, has anyone heard of the term seroconvert?
Seroconversion. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk about seroconversion?
Oh, I think you're doing a great job, so I'm going to let you have at it, man. I'll grade you later, and I'll send in critiques, so it's fine.
I thought you said Siri convert. People talking to their phones.
And everybody's phones are like bling.
My God talks back to me. I just have to.
Siri, convert this inches to meters.
Oh, you have no idea how close I am to doing a rant video on why the metric system is objectively better way of. Anyway, that's a tangent that I am not going to go into right now. Learn metric. Okay, so seroconversion is when basically you get infected by a disease or a vaccine, if you can call being when you get vaccinated, and your immune system basically goes, that's a foreign body, therefore I shall attack it and produce the antibodies. That's basically it. Seroconversion is when the body starts producing its antibodies. How's that? Because
that sounds great.
Sounds good. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
4
I think so. Wait, I have a board here. Here, I'll just. It's like I'm gonna put it up. Good job. 9 out of 10.
Woo!
I use this for work, actually. I have a separate doc can sit down and I have to work problems on, but it's fine. So yeah, seroconversion. But let's this vaccine. I yesterday, and if you're curious more of the science related to the vaccine, I did talk at length about mRNA vaccines, how it works, how to break down a lot of technology. But essentially, this is a pretty revolutionary type of vaccine in that we don't have to actually grow the virus in order to make the vaccine. And that's why the time has been short. So a lot of people have been really scared. Well, this has been rushed. This has been rushed. It hasn't been rushed. These vaccines have been researched since January. Okay. Since January. And trials technically started for, I know we have the Moderna vaccine and we have the Pfizer vaccine. A lot of these trials started, at least the paperwork did, early February. Yeah. And so the whole thing is Merro mentioned RNA earlier. This is an RNA virus. And so we talked about the protein. She talked about the proteins associated with that. Well, the proteins on the outside of this virus are not changing, which means that's a good thing because we are able to take the genetic sequencing associated with how to make that protein, put it in a vaccine, and your cells will make that protein and elicit an immune response. And so what a lot of people are not understanding is that the reason why this is faster, why they're able to generate these vaccines a lot quicker is because we don't have to grow the virus. We can just take the genetic code and your own body makes the vaccine. And so but the Moderna vaccine is 94% effective and the Pfizer vaccine is 95% effective. And so all it does is your cells that uptake that genetic information, they're in little oily bubbles that we call liposomes. Your cells take it in. They read that messenger RNA, which is essentially the recipe to make the protein. Your ribosomes don't know if it's virus protein or human protein, or viral DNA or human DNA or RNA or human RNA. They just read it anyway, and they make that protein, and then it shows up on the outside. Your immune system goes, hey, that's not one of us. And then it starts to make antibodies associated with that. And so your body ends up making the vaccine to where you don't have to actually have an inactive version of the virus in you.
Yeah.
That's why it's faster.
Yeah. And the reason why we talked about seroconversion is that 5 to 6% of people don't have a seroconversion reaction, which means that for every 100 people that get the vaccine, 5 to 6 people don't become immune. And so if you, from what this guy says, he's like, if you get shot, you're immune to infected people, right? So why do you care if people don't? You're one of the 5 to 6 people, which is a fairly significant number of people, not getting the without the seroconversion. You can still get the disease even if you've been infected. Also, you have to have two shots, and the problem with needing 2 shots is that compliance just plummets. The more shots somebody needs to get a vaccine, the compliance plummets. So if everyone did everything perfectly, you'd only get 5 to 6 people per 100 people getting the shot. However, not everyone's going to get the second shot within 28 days. They might end up going over for too far. So sometimes with certain diseases, what happens is you get infected, your immunity goes up, your seroconversion, your antibodies, all that goes up, and then your body's like, why do I need to keep making the antibodies? So it wanes down, which is why you need the second shot to remind your immune system to make it, and sort of it makes. If your immune system is constantly being challenged by getting this disease, then your immune system's going to remember to keep making this antibody, because antibodies do take a lot of effort to produce.
They do.
Yeah, it's not like a thing that you kind of need all the time. Like, there are diseases that you can get the exact same disease you can get a year later or something like that. The disease itself hasn't mutated, but your immune system has just forgotten, because it doesn't make any sense to produce something that it doesn't need to produce. Your body is designed. Your body has evolved to be as efficient as possible, and antibodies take a long time and a lot of effort to produce. So that's, for example, most coronaviruses like the cold, actually have only a 3-month antibody, for a long time, like a length of time. So that's why you can get the same virus a couple of times a year. Right. Because every 3 months, your immune systems stop making the antibodies.
I mean, but that's kind of what the body does. The body's going to be as efficient as possible. And oftentimes with certain types of vaccines, we find a stronger immune response to the vaccine than we do just being exposed to the virus alone. An example of that is HPV. So even if you've been exposed to HPV, it's still a good idea to get the vaccine, because you will elicit a stronger immune response from the vaccine from just being exposed to the virus, which is really important because that virus causes the cancer. So it's like getting the multiple shots is going to be a challenge, particularly with people who can't even put paper on their face. So
and also some diseases cause immune amnesia. So measles, for example,
my God,
measles can wipe out up to 70% of a person's antibodies, and like even years later, they still haven't had their antibodies put back up, which is why when the measles vaccine came out, there was a sudden drop in other childhood diseases such as chickenpox. And they didn't know why until only a few years ago, when they realized that the measles actually cause immunity, your immune system to forget, basically. You lose those antibodies.
You do.
Yeah, so you don't become immunocompromised, which a lot of people go when I explain that, they're like, "Oh, I'm not immunocompromised." It's like, no, your immune system's fine. It's just it's forgotten everything. So
yeah, that's one of those things that's particularly difficult when you're trying to communicate information to people. I got into a very heated debate. So I play like a game on my phone, and it's like one of those war games. It's kind of like Age of Empires or something like that. And so somebody was spreading misinformation, of course, in the chat. So I felt the need to correct them.
that was a bad idea, wasn't it?
Well, needless to say, turned out they're a heavy Trump supporter, and they think this virus is necessary to reduce the population. Like,
well, it's doing a really good job at that, isn't it?
Oh my God. It's like, hey, and it's not just, killing off people who have it, but people who don't have access to ICU beds for completely different reasons, but whatever. And then, my final argument with him is like, he said, people who don't have strong immune systems get this virus and they get really sick. I'm like, well, then please go lick a bunch of toilet seats and doorknobs and let me know if you get it or not. I'm all for this experiment. I have gone from being like super patient with people to please lick doorknobs and report back and let me know how it goes. And I don't know if there's any kind of ethical, like professional issues for me to say that to a person. I'm like, and then he had the gall to say, because I'm like, look, I'm a chemistry professor. I've done computational chemistry. I've done cancer research. I'm a published scientist. I know what I'm talking about. He said, chemistry has nothing to do with this virus. I hurt from laughing so hard.
I'm just hurting.
I said, then please explain the mechanism ACE2 receptor, the ACE2 receptor, and how the virus enters it. How do you think that happens? Magic or chemistry? What do you think?
Biology. There's a branch of science called biochemistry, you dipshit.
And somebody's like, yeah, everything can be explained with physics. I'm like, yes, there's a whole division of biophysics.
Yep. There's also that too.
Oh my God. It's like, it has nothing to do with your chemistry. Does it not? Do you not know how receptors interact with antagonists? And just agonists and antagonists. Do you not know how they are? It's usually hydrogen bonding. But hey, that's not chemistry.
No, hydrogen is clearly not an element.
Oh my God. Hydrogen bonding is not chemistry, guys.
No, it's bio shit. I don't know. It's magic.
We have a question from the chat, but before that, I want to read out Titan Uranus's comment. Viruses aren't made of chemicals; they're made of molecules. Checkmate, scientist.
Man, I'm just gonna sit here and play with my my little ring of carbons. This is hexane.
But we had a question from the chat. Can you talk about the Regeneron drug cocktail monoclonal antibody that Trump took? Is it effective? It isn't because he's still alive. Oh, sorry.
Monoclonal antibodies. Okay, essentially what Trump got. Okay, so once upon a time I worked in industry, and I worked in a facility where we basically grew monoclonal antibodies from goats, from mice. We didn't have anything that was injected into people. We were primarily diagnostic. So the type of stuff with monoclonal antibodies is all he got was injected with a bunch of antibodies for this particular virus. And so all that did was he just got shots of like probably mouse. It might be mouse or goat. where they were able to generate a bunch of antibodies. They put it in a shot, and they stuck them with it. And so those antibodies were able to neutralize the remaining virus particles that were in his blood and kept it from entering into the cells. So antibody transplants, yes, those are effective, because essentially what are antibodies? Well, they're like gum on a key. Okay, so viruses have a key that fits into the lock of each cell. That lock is the ACE2 receptor. And so that key is able to fit in there perfectly, and it convinces that cell to let it in and get that cell to make copies of the virus. So if you can put gum on that lock, then that's going to keep that from entering into that key. So that's what antibodies do. So getting an injection of a whole bunch of monoclonal antibodies over and over and over again is going to be enough to where they can work with your immune system to come together and attach onto those viruses pretty well through hydrogen bonding, which is totally not chemistry, by the way.
No.
We don't know whatever. So that's not chemistry. But then, then you have your killer T cells to go in, and your other, like your initial immune response with like your macrophages are able to take out the rest of the viruses because they're not able to enter into your cells. That's essentially what that treatment is. And it is highly effective. Too bad everybody else on the planet isn't allowed to get that, because they're not like a big man child that throws tantrums and has access to armies, but whatever.
No. And what was the Regeneron drug cocktail?
Regeneron. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard of that before, to be honest with you.
Regeneron cocktail.
I might have, but I've probably forgotten the name of the drug.
I think that might be an anti-inflammatory. All right, so I found a couple of links for this from actually directly here. I'll put this in the side chat. Here, I'll put this here to Merro. You can have a look. This is exclusively from their website, so you can have a look. It's their antiviral antibody cocktail. And so there's emergency use authorization through the FDA that was apparently in November to allow this. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's okay. I need to see. I think these might be anti-inflammatories, but if that's anti-inflammatories, that would make sense, because a lot of the severe symptoms of COVID-19 have to do with a high rate of inflammation, particularly associated with the immune system flooding into like your lungs to where you can't breathe. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. No. That's okay. FDA. Okay. So these are exclusively have to do with monoclonal antibodies. So this is the monoclonal. So that's what the Regeneron is. It's the monoclonal antibodies.
Fair enough. Awesome.
Okay. So, but I do know that there is, I don't remember the name of the drug, but there is a particular drug they're administering along with some antibiotics. And it's a steroid to reduce inflammation. And some doctors are administering antibiotics, not because of COVID-19 being a virus, but to reduce the possibility of secondary infections in high-risk patients like pneumonia.
Yeah.
You don't want pneumonia and COVID-19 together.
Generally not.
No. So here's more information about that. So I'll put it in the side chat here and send it to you here, Merro. The FDA's information. So yeah, it's just the monoclonal antibodies. And like I said, it's probably mouse or goat or something like that. And then they just clean them through a clean room and they just shove it into your body.
I think also they might be harvesting it from people who've donated blood as well.
Yes, that is a thing too. That is a thing too.
Yeah, so people who've recovered from COVID-19 who still have the antibodies running around, they will harvest from that.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to keep my antibodies, and maybe I'm going to be a bit Scrooge on that, but I'm getting up there in age. I get out of bed and weird things hurt, so I kind of might be selfish a bit with my antibodies. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really interesting branch of science as well. So, yeah.
It is.
So how are they making the mRNA vaccine? Are they doing it through what's it called? CRISPR?
I don't think it's CRISPR. Okay, so this is what happened in January. The entire genetic sequence of COVID-19 was published on a public database. Let me see if I can find that. Moderna has a really good video, and
one of my favorite things was that the scientists were like, "This is the fastest we've ever sequenced a viral DNA," and there were people in the comment going, "Well, why didn't you do it faster?" And it's like they just broke a world record, you idiots.
You should have gone faster.
How?
Oh my God! Let me see if I can find the Moderna.
2 weeks, I think, from when they harvested the viral DNA, the viral RNA, to sequencing it. I think it was 2 weeks, and they're like, "This is the fastest we've ever done. We've just broken a world record."
Right?
Should have done it faster. It's sort of like, oh, Usain Bolt. Oh God, he should have run faster.
For real.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think, did I post the FDA thing twice? I did. Yes. I'm sorry. Let me do better. Here's the Moderna website. They have a really nice video that talks about what they did. And there's a timeline there. Peter, it's really hard to probably pull that up. But they do have a timeline on there. So if you can click on the link at home, or don't do it if you're driving in your car. That's a bad idea. Hey, Heat Shield, what's going on?
Hey.
I'm trying to make certain to say hi to everybody. I think I've said hi to everyone because I'm trying to be. Oh, Iron Chariot's here. You asked a question. I didn't say hi. I'm sorry. Garth Dryland, how you doing?
Sinister Porpoise, I think.
Yeah, I did say hi earlier.
Okay, cool.
So
Garth Dryland, I think we said hello.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We are very neighborly here because we love Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
Also, by the way, I got this is for a holiday present. It is Phoenix, and you can't see that so great, Merro. I'm sorry. It's Dark Phoenix. It's a Barbie. I don't do Barbies, but I like the X-Men, so that's fine.
Fair enough.
So Moderna, they posted a timeline of their research. So as I mentioned before, a lot of people don't understand that this virus, the vaccine, they started research in January. And so once they got the sequence of the most highly expressed receptor on the outside of the virus, they thought, okay, this is going to be a good candidate for a vaccine because this virus has a lot of this little receptor. It's like an antenna that sticks out of it. So that's the thing that the body's going to recognize the most. So then they took the genetic sequence of that messenger RNA, and they put it into liposomes, which essentially is just oily bubbles. That's really all it is. It's oily bubbles. And so it was enough for your cells to take it in and make copies of it. So really, building messenger RNA is just a matter of putting together the correct nucleotides, which can be done really rapidly. And they have machines. They have like factory machines to do that for you. You type in, this is the sequence I want, and then it builds it for you.
Wow. Technology is incredible.
It's like a printer. It's like a 3D printer, except they do that with genetic code.
Do they also amplify it through PCR, or is it too slow? Is PCR too slow?
I mean, to be quite honest, you can build proteins and you can build nucleic acid like sequences just from cartridges, because it's for RNA, it's G, C, A, and U. You put those cartridges into your particular your particular machine, and you put in the sequence that you want, and it can just print them for you. It can just make it for you.
Wow, that's incredible.
You can do that with proteins. You can do it with all that. You can build a protein in a lab if you have the genetic sequence.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really cool. That is so cool.
It's so awesome. Sometimes I miss like doing like research lab stuff, but right now I feel like I'm Mary Poppins, and where I'm needed is at my job. So my umbrella is turned to here, trying to help people learn chemistry in the middle of a pandemic. So I feel like that's really important right now.
Did you want to talk about the PCR? Some of the things that are coming up with the PCR?
We can talk about that. I don't think I sent that to Peter, but yeah, we can talk about what the PCR thing is and what all that means and why there's false negatives mostly. It's mostly false negatives and they're a false positive.
So I think I sent that to you. I sent it to you. The false positive PCR problem is not a problem from Virology Down Under. And this person actually is close to where I live. I did send them an invite to come onto my channel, but I don't think they responded.
You need to just go and toilet paper their house. I don't know why
I might do that, actually. That's a good idea. Yeah, where are we? I've tabbed away. Stop doing that. There we go. So do I need to send that link to Peter?
I think I have it, so I will post it here.
The problem is I can't get to it because if I do, you freeze.
That's okay. So I'll post it in the chat too.
StreamYard is awkward.
Yes, you are correct. So basically the idea is that there's a lot of people going, oh, PCR, you get false positives for PCR run if you were like run it too many times. And it's sort of like, some people are saying like 25 PCR runs, and it's like, but the problem, so PCR basically is you get a protein basically, or a DNA sequence, you chuck it into the PCR machine, and what it does is it heats it up, it breaks the hydrogen bonds, which is not chemistry, and then it sort of adds the nucleotides, and then it puts the Taq polymerase, which kind of just sort of like joins it together, and the temperature goes up and down, and then for the Taq polymerase to work, and then you heat it up again, break the hydrogen bonds, then add the nucleotides, cool it down, the Taq polymerase, which kind of just fixes up.
It's a whole bunch of cycles of it copying genetic code. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's basically if I was to do a gaming thing, it'd be like sort of putting out bases. Like if you play something like StarCraft or something, it's like putting out bases, and then the more bases you put out, the faster your army grows, basically. So it's an exponential growth. And if you do, 15, 20, 30 cycles, you can start to find your target proteins. Basically that's one of the things that that's basically one of the things that are coming up, is that PCR is not reliable. If you do it above a certain number of
cycles.
Cycles.
Yeah. So, okay. So to kind of break this down, what it does, it amplifies essentially a section of genetic code. And so it just makes copies of it over and over and over again. It has to do with heat. So the Taq polymerase, if you're not familiar with that term, poly means many, mer means unit, ASE means enzyme. So when we say polymerase, it is an enzyme that makes many units of something. And so when you're making copies of genetic code, this Taq polymerase goes through and it makes copies of the same genetic code over and over and over again. So it's kind of like a copy machine. So if the genetic code isn't there for it to copy, it can't make more copies of it. Mm. But what it does is it allows to make lots of copies of this particular genetic code. And so you have what are called primers that fit on either side of the gene that you want. So if you're looking for the specific gene associated with COVID-19, you have primers to where it will clip off and say, this is the section that we want. And so those primers are essentially like beacon lights that tell the Taq polymerase, hey, start here and copy just this section. So false positives aren't really a thing so much, because if you don't have that gene there, if you don't have that genetic code, it can't make more copies of it. The only way you could get a false positive is through contamination. So if you had a contamination of your sample, what we do see is a false negative, because there's only a window of time where you can test for COVID-19 and be tested positive. Because when you think about it, if you're infected really early on and you don't have any symptoms, you're not going to have enough of the virus there for them to be able to get, enough genetic code to copy, because there is a limit to how much, if you only have a teeny tiny amount, it's not going to see it, is it?
Yeah.
So that's why they wait until after you have symptoms before they test.
Yeah. But it's, so on this website that I'm sort of looking at, it's sort of, they're saying the RNA present that they target is a marker for the amount of virus, but not an actual measure, because PCR methods cannot tell you if a virus is infectious. So you can still be shedding viral DNA but not be infectious.
That's true.
Yeah. So it basically, they have, scientists know these things. Like they know that false positives are actually quite common in practice. So they know this, and they do several tests to rule it out. But PCR is just one way to be able to tell. I mean, if you have antibodies found in your system, it means that you have been infected by COVID-19. Mm-hmm. So, but if you don't do enough, you actually will end up getting false negatives. So,
right.
Yeah. So,
antibody tests are by far more effective to determine whether or not a person has been infected with COVID-19.
Exactly. And this guy is, as I said, is from around where I live. So basically with the PCR test, if there were false positives all the time using PCR tests, because we in Australia don't have a lot of COVID-19, we're actually showing, and I don't think you can see because of the, I might even be able to, I'll try and screen share, actually. This might help. No, I can't.
It's okay. Just send me a link and I'll put it in the chat.
It's the Virology Down Under one. So,
okay.
Hang on, I'll just send it to you anyway.
It's okay.
There we go. Anyway, so basically, he's saying that if there were false positives, you would see in Australia lots and lots of PCR false positives, but you don't. Like very, very, very few. So,
right.
So there's this excess PCR cycles. You can get contaminations. Yes, there are often you can get false positives, but they are vanishingly small. It's not something to be worried about. Science is messy, but you're hearing about people Yeah, so it's basically what this guy says right at the end. It goes, the PCR test works to find infections. It can find them before you become sick. That helps in containing the spread if you have a process for isolation. PCR testing can find infection if you were sick recently but missed a timely test. Whether you feel sick or not, that means contact tracing can be used to contain transmission chains that you may have started. PCR can actually be used to slow SARS-CoV-2 spread and contribute to bringing an epidemic under control. Of course, only if you actually do something to respond to these results. If you miss transmission chains and cases or find them but don't do anything to interrupt them, then you simply have to rely on hope and faith that things will work out in the end. So far, hope and faith hasn't helped much. So that's the it's a really good article. I do suggest reading it, but PCR, that's basically one of the what's it called? That's basically one of the
diagnostic tests.
It's one of the diagnostic tests, and it's also one of those conspiracy theories that like to undermine. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so tired of those. There are some days that I'm not terribly active sometimes on my social media because I'm like, I don't want to do it today.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to do it today. I want to sit and binge watch Victorian dramas on PBS on my TV right now.
That is totally understandable.
So I've almost finished PBS, by the way.
All of PBS.
All of PBS. I'm almost finished. It's like I've almost finished Netflix too, so it's all right.
Jesus. But do you have them on 2 times or something?
Well, it's funny because I'll sit there and I'll play stuff in the background while I'm getting work done. So I feel like I'm working, but I'm not working. I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's like my lines between work and not working are just gone. It's just like I probably need to do better with scheduling and stuff like that. I still have a freaking training I have to do at my job about IT, and it's really hard to muster the will to do that because it's crap like, well, if somebody comes to your office and fixes your computer, make certain they have an actual ID badge because they might be stealing your passwords. I'm like, I work from home.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is where I'm at right now. I have to complete training for crap that I don't use. If there's like, an email that you get that is suspicious and has like lots of numbers afterwards, it might be a bot. Okay. Don't click on the link. So, I mean, and the thing is, it used to be to where it was just watch this video and you could play the video. And I will be honest, I'm very guilty of this and I'm probably telling on myself, but I think other people do this. You just play the video and you go make yourself some coffee while it's playing. And then you take the quiz at the end because a lot of it is just common knowledge. And I'm like, can I just test out of this? But because I'm a person who understands this already. So
no is the answer to that one.
You can't test out of it. Now they divide it up into sections to where you have to watch, you play 10 minutes of it and you have to come back and take a quiz. Then you play another 10 minutes, then you have to take a quiz. So now it's become incredibly painful to do this.
And you can't skip. You can't skip. That's also the problem.
You can't skip it. So, and they're like, I'm going, and don't put passwords on your monitors, guys. Don't put sticky notes with your passwords on your monitors because somebody might come over to your computer and take your password. And I'm like, but I'm at home though. Nobody's coming to my house to fix my computer, and I really wish they would because that would be so cheap. It's like, so I will still do the training properly. Yes, people, if my job is watching, I will still do the training properly, but I'm just telling you, it's really hard to muster the will.
Fair enough. Is there anything you wanted else to talk about?
Let's see.
We have one.
Let's see.
Let's
one tweet left.
Sorry. You have what? What was that?
We have one tweet left.
One tweet left? Oh.
What's the tweet? I forgot about it already.
Astrology.
Oh, the astrology tweet you sent me, Merro.
Oh God, how many times do I have to send you tweets?
I know. You're like, did you see this crap? Oh my God.
I'm just evil to you.
It's okay. Sometimes it's a good solid chuckle. Let me see if I can find this tweet and I will send it to the chat. This is about astrology.
Oh yes. Oh yes, that one was great. That one. Oh,
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay. I found it.
Can I read it out?
Sure, go for it.
I wish more educated people learned astrology. Imagine doctors also looking at birth chart for understanding the illness and choosing right time for surgeries. Teachers and parents checking their child's birth chart for appropriate career choice. That is the next level of evolution. Love the interaction. Oh, and then the next one is love the interactions which is happening on this tweet. People who are criticizing the use of astrology in medical field haven't heard of Ayurveda. I can't say that word.
Ayurveda, yeah.
That's the word. This is already happening in cases of chronic diseases, and you'll see this knowledge being used more in every field. Would you say that was accurate?
Not at all. The FDA actually has a warning on their website about Ayurveda.
No, I meant my accent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely endorse. We should do an entire series of just us reading terrible tweets in like the worst voices possible. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Merro reads terrible takes on Twitter. And then she has to it's a good exercise if you're into acting. That would be a great exercise. Tap into your Karen character.
My apologies that I was late with the tweet. I was rolling on the floor laughing, so sorry.
I hope other people got a chuckle out of that. It hurt, but oh well.
I want to add to that the doctor will tell you, we can't operate on your child. We'll have to wait until Mars is in Uranus, and then everything will be fine.
So I saw that. Okay, so I have friends that are nurses and doctors, and right now they're saying, please do not put things in your bum right now because the ER is overwhelmed. Now is not the time to explore what can go in your anus. So don't do that.
If you absolutely have to put something in your bum, make sure it's flared at the base. So when it can't go further up than it needs to. That's what I learnt from a gay friend of mine. Just thought you'd like to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
It has to be flared at the base.
It has to be flared at the base.
Yes.
So there was a friend of mine who was an ER nurse at I forget which, it was a high intensity type of hospital where they got a lot of trauma victims and stuff. Somebody had something jarred in their anus and they did an x-ray and it was really, really fuzzy. And they're like, we don't know why this x-ray is so fuzzy. What's going on? Well, somebody had put a vibrator in their anus and it had gotten hung. It was a guy. It got hung on his pelvic bone and he couldn't turn it off. So the fuzziness was it vibrating very rapidly in the x-ray. Don't put things in your bum in a pandemic, okay?
No,
Please don't do it.
Or at the very least, make sure it's flared so it can't go all the way.
Hello, Jenny Morgan. You arrived just in time for the bum talks. I mean, okay, if it's meant to go in your anus, that's fine. Silicone grade, medical grade silicone is great.
Yeah, make sure you wash it every time.
Wash it every time. It's fine. Hot water and soap. When you put it up there, make certain you can pull it out. It's
water-based lube needs to be there. Like,
yes.
Do it safely.
Safely. Don't be putting light bulbs and cucumbers and other things.
No, definitely. If it can break, don't.
This is a pandemic, and you two have to do your part to make certain you don't utilize hospital resources pulling a light bulb out of your rear end or a vibrator that's on full blast.
Yeah, also, but let's just say even ever, really, like just avoid the embarrassment of needing to go to a hospital with a light bulb up your ass. I think just don't. Just avoid the light bulb at the very least. If it can break, don't.
Do we need to point out that people who put a light bulb up there, they're not bright people?
No, but the sun shines out of their ass though.
Okay, so I do have to talk about something really quickly. I've talked about perineum sunning before on my channel, where people were. Now people are doing vaginal sunning.
Oh yeah, don't do that either.
Please don't do that. Yeah. Back in the day, growing up in the South, we call that Christmas and Easter. Essentially, your front side and your back side. You're like, oh, you can see all of Christmas and Easter when you're looking down there. Or don't let the door hit you where the sun don't shine. There's a reason why the sun doesn't shine on our most intimate parts, because that's highly sensitive skin. And when you start exposing this highly sensitive skin to UV radiation, you're going to get sunburned. And it's going to hurt a lot.
And you especially don't want a melanoma down there, because I used to work with someone who would remove skin cancers. And with melanomas, you actually have to cut a centimeter around the mole and about a centimeter under. So even if it's like a little tiny spot, little tiny dot, you actually have to get, that much taken out, and deep as well to make sure. So you don't want that on your labia.
I mean, some people are wanting labia reduction. That's not the way to do it.
No, don't do it with cancer. That's just.
And also, we need to stay at home. If a lot of people start vaginal sunning, it's going to wreak havoc with the staying at home thing, because people will be outside watching.
Yeah, just avoid it as a rule.
Why do people want to put sun on their lady bits?
Well, they also put light bulbs up their anuses, so
they're just trying to get brighter, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if I shine some light down there, I'll get better at something. I'm really trying to understand, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, well, it is.
With the labia sunning and the perineum sunning, maybe it's a kind of fitness program because of the movements that you have to make. Who knows?
If you're going to work your butt, do a couple of butt bridges and squats. Don't go outside and go, hello, everyone.
I welcome the sun to all of my orifices.
I mean, I think there's a sun pose in yoga, probably.
But isn't it like this?
I don't know. I can't
it's
remember.
Like this with, you standing in this pose. Like, it has nothing to do with parting your cheeks for the sunshine.
Yeah. That's the closest thing to exercise and sun you should do in regards to worshipping said sun.
Oh my goodness. I don't understand Peter. I'm sorry, Peter. I was going to say I don't understand Peter, but I'm reading the side chat, so my brain was filling in the rest of that sentence. I really don't understand you, Peter, but it's okay.
No one understands me. I'm used to that.
All right. Well, on that note,
what do you want to talk about next week? You had mentioned possibly bringing Almost a Doctor on here. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I will send them a message, see if they're able to come. So Almost a Doctor is a good friend of mine. He's an Australian doctor. He's a big physics person, especially when it comes to lasers. He's been on my channel for an interview once, and he's just a really sweet guy. And if you haven't talked to him or checked out his channel, really suggest you do. Because us Australian science communicators need as much support, because it's hard enough not existing. So we kind of are. Almost a Doctor is not quite a doctor, hence the name. So, but yeah.
But what kind of doctor? Because, apparently the Washington Post doesn't want people who aren't medical to have doctor in front of their name.
Yes. That's why. But yeah, Almost a Doctor is a laser scientist, so he can tell you all about.
Okay, we can have so many Austin Powers.
Well, he talked about that. And also Death Star. It's like pew 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 and stuff. So
sharks with freaking lasers.
Laser beams.
We need sharks with lasers.
I've got a feeling by the time he's finished his YouTube career, he's like, don't fucking ask me about fucking sharks with fucking laser beams on it.
Oh my goodness. A physicsy doctor. That'd be fun. I would love to pick his brain about all kinds of things, particularly with chemistry associated with atoms and how it behaves with lasers. Oh goodness. I'm seeing some weird things on the pic. Oh, there we go.
My bad.
So Matt, you didn't know this, but we're inviting you on next week. So no pressure, but you have to come on.
You have to come on next week. So do you have anything coming up, Merro, before we sign off? Because it's almost like an hour and a half now. Or almost 2 hours, actually.
Ooh, really? Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. It is Christmas. So, but I will actually shell out. Purple Rhymes with Orange has made a Christmas rally. Stream rally. So basically it's just over about 30 something hours, starting in Australia at 7 p.m. Queensland time, with Not Your Witness kicking it off. We will be doing like a rally. Every time someone goes for 3 hour stream, someone else picks it up the next. Just so if you are not feeling 100%, if you're not able to go to Christmas for reasons, not just COVID-19, but any sort of reason, you are more than welcome to watch. And it's there just more as an emotional support for people who have that. And it should be a lot of fun. It's just a whole heap of fun. And it's a yearly thing that Purple Rhymes with Orange organizes. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do check out Purple Rhymes with Orange. I don't know if I will be able to participate, but if you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. Do watch that particular live stream, and you can hang out with really awesome people.
Yeah. So, I'm not able to do it on my channel because I work on Christmas Day, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I never know what I'm doing on Christmas Day until the actual day happens. So, I wasn't able to commit, but I will try and jump on at points throughout the day, just to, as one of the things. So, but yeah, if for more information, go and check out Purple Rhymes with the Orange on Twitter.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing next Saturday. So if you're curious more about the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, I did talk at length about it yesterday. You can watch that particular episode. Seems like next week we will have, hopefully, Almost a Doctor on to talk about freaking lasers
and sharks.
and sharks. So that'll be fun. Now that the semester's over, I will be able to have more time devoted to the channel. So I appreciate your patience with that. Merro has been amazing with been like, yeah, it's okay, Mel, because the world is on fire. But I don't know. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Merro's information is in the description. She has all kinds of links there. You can subscribe to her channel. Are you doing a thing on the COVID-19 vaccine? I don't know. I know you had possibly were tossing around the idea about that before.
Yeah, well, I still need to do a little bit more research. So this might come in the next few weeks or so, just to talk about it. I might also touch on the PCR thing that we talked about earlier. Yeah, because RNA vaccines, even though this is the first one that was actually made, the technology is at least a decade old. The reason why we didn't end up having an RNA vaccine for MERS and SARS was because of the fact that the pandemic burnt itself out before it turned into something like this. So the technology the information that they learnt back in 10 years ago ended up being used in the production of this vaccine for COVID-19. So so even those people are like, it's been rushed and stuff, it's like, no, it's not, because the technology is old. The technology is a decade old. So
yeah, that's old in science terms.
Yeah, that's friggin' ancient, actually, to be honest with you.
Well, I look forward to that. I guess we will see you next time. Have a fantastic... Sorry. Go ahead, Peter. Do you have something?
Yeah, we had a request from the side chat from On Jared. That's where you got caught up with my name. Do you want to end on something fun?
Yeah.
Sure. What we got?
She shared a tweet of a little guy named Steve doing a science experiment. I have no clue what it is, so you want to share that with the people?
Yeah. Sure. Do you have a link? Because the view I've got is kind of choppy.
Okay. I'll send you the link.
Okay. Is that an otter?
Is it an otter playing the drums?
No, it's an otter like playing with a Dyson vacuum machine, passing a ball through.
That's so cool. Aww. That is adorable.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love the look on its face.
He's like, isn't this awesome? I'm doing science.
That's so cute.
So thanks, Onjer, for that.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that. That was sweet.
Aw, that is awesome. Hello, never again, and be not just be. What's up? Yes. All right, so I guess we will. I mean, maybe if you're available this time next week, Merro.
I should be.
Okay, fantastic. We will sort out the frickin' lasers and sharks and everything with Almost a Doctor. Next Saturday, I don't know what I'm talking about on my channel. So if you have suggestions, drop them in the comments or hit me up on Twitter. I mean, I get messages on Twitter. So
if you find any ridiculous scientific takes, just send it to Mel.
I would prefer you send it to Merro. Send it to her.
Mel prefers them. She loves them.
Merro loves it when there's horrible takes sent to her. It makes her day. She's just in there.
Yeah, but I've seen your face light up whenever I send you something.
Like, oh my God. Another terribly uninformed person that I'm just going to have to sit here and deal with because, whatever. Oh my goodness. And Jer says, he's doing very serious science. I was like, that's what we do here. We're very terribly serious, guys.
Please have him as a guest. I would love to.
So next week, if he's on board, we will have almost a doctor talking about his frickin' lasers.
And an otter.
And maybe an otter. Otters with lasers. I'm for that a little bit, I think. I welcome our otter overlords. Okay, well, I don't have anything else. Peter, do you have anything before we sign off?
Nope. That was it.
All right.
Okay.
Now, easy enough?
All righty.
Nope.
Well, you guys have a great holiday. Thank you, Merro. You're always amazing, but you know that, so I don't know.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, it just, people tell you all the time and stuff, but whatever, it's fine.
See you later, everybody. Have a good one, and have a happy Christmas as well.
Bye.
Bye.